Welcome back to the channel, and in today's episode we are doing Love Island USA Season 2 episode 19. So now we are back to beautiful Vegas. It's been a couple days since the show has been on air, and tonight is an epic, eventful night. So of course Oriel is back. It left off on Friday with the whole coupling or recoupling, depending on what your choice is, ceremony. So we're going to start with Justine, and Justine has been stressing for the last 2 days. Ariel asked if she was going to choose one of the guys, and of course she did not. She was, like she said, she was feeling nervous, but she's going to go with what she feels within her heart. And she chose to stay with Caleb. And then, of course, we needed to know whether Caleb, which it wasn't even a question, we needed to know whether Caleb was going to also stay coupled up with her. And he came down the stairs, looked like he was running. He came down the stairs to Justine alone. And honestly, I was so happy about this. This is one of my favorite couples. I give them a 10. And I mean, she cried. This whole night was about tears, both good and bad. But yeah, this was definitely a tearjerker for me. And I love Caleb. And I think one of my subscribers called them, they have a new name, Caleb. So yeah, I mean, he picked her up, he hugged her. And he's the only guy outside of Trey and even Jeremiah that really got close in contact with her, kissing her, hugging her. I mean, the other guys seem kind of standoffish, but I'm so glad these two are together. So they decided to have a little bit of conversation and to catch up. And, he was like, hey, so what's been going on? How was the last few days? And she was like, well, nothing's really been going on. And he was like, well, just hold on. Let me just let you know. There have been no kissing or anything outside of the challenges. And we are the king and queen, and we came through. And yes, y'all did. I am extremely happy about this couple. Now, he did mention to her that Cher was one person that he did find attractive. So I'm glad he was being honest. He didn't come in there acting like, well, nothing. I was a good boy. And he was a good boy. But he wanted to make sure that he was very transparent about the fact that, he had interest in Cher. But Cher is also in the villa now. And that bothers her a little bit that Cher is there. But, he was like, no, we good. I mean, you don't have to worry about her. Nothing. I had an interest, but there was nothing there with Cher. So we're good. And, she was like, I'm just glad that you're here. I've been really missing you. And you can definitely tell that she was missing her Caleb. I thought that kissing scene was so, so nice. And he seemed like he is so into her. I think Friday night when I had the last episode, I was worried about her insecurities. And, as long as these two continue to work together, they'll be fine. They'll be fine. So she decides to have a sit down with Miss Cher. And, she's like, okay, so I know you with Calvin, but, are you still interested in him? And she was like, well, I never thought I was going to be with Calvin. My interest was originally with Caleb. But Caleb is, was into you. And of course, Justine was like, well, Caleb told me he's not into you. And that, you need to move on. And Cher was like, he didn't say that to me. And looked like she got kind of defensive. And I'm like, girlfriend, you got a whole nother dude over there. Because she was like, you know what? If I still have an interest in somebody, and if that might be Caleb, hey, I can go and explore that option if that person is into it. Girl, okay. Let's not start something where there ain't nothing going on. You being messy. And it was interesting how, and we'll talk about that later, how she want to say Moira's playing games, but you are too, sister girl. So you need to chill out. I mean, like I said, I think you're a pretty girl. You're definitely strong. I like the personality, but, hey, just because she's trying to tell you, listen, we good. Don't come. I mean, she's like, ain't nobody gonna tell me just because you don't like it, don't mean that I'm not gonna talk to him. Yeah, you need to respect people's boundaries. Okay, so chill out. And Justine goes back to tell him, she's still thinking that she got an opportunity. And Caleb was like, no, I'm good on her, and she know that. And Justine was like, hey, I'm winning. I'm in the catbird seat with Mr. Caleb. All right, so let's move on to our second couple. And Ariel asked Moira who she wants to couple up with. Does she want to stay with Calvin, or does she want to choose one of the guys? And Moira decided to choose Mr. Aaron. And he's all happy and he's excited. And, Aaron is like, okay, well, at least I don't get to go home. I didn't feel it with these two. I mean, granted, he did a couple nice gestures, but as we see later on in the show, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit, she ain't feeling him like that, and I'm not feeling him like that. So now Calvin comes down, and Calvin basically says, hey, I've chosen someone who's strong, who's confident, who knows what they want, and he brings Cher from Casa Amora over to the villa. Now, originally, like I said on Friday night, they were never even interested in each other. They just basically decided to get to know one another, and here we are. And I don't find the chemistry there either. And then all of a sudden, you have Maura breaking down because she's hurt. She feels disrespected, and and I'm like, what? I mean, guys, tell me what you think about Moira's breakdown. I didn't understand that. She's up in there now. I could understand Cely, which we'll talk about toward the end of the show. But why are you crying? You chose what you chose. You chose Mr. Aaron, and Calvin chose Cher. So what's the problem? And she was like, oh, maybe it's me. I don't know. I mean, I'm not feeling it, and love shouldn't be too hard to find, and I see the romance that you and Johnny have, and and I'm like, girl, because she's not 100% in. I think she says she's 50-50. And I'm like, okay, if you really wanted to explore, but see, the thing is, he came down with Cher. So even if she did, just say she chose not to choose Aaron, she would have been sleeping alone. So, I mean, maybe this is not a good fit for her. I mean, she's one of our first contestants on this show, and she still haven't solidified anything with anybody. And like she said, first there was James, now there's Calvin, and now we have Aaron. And it's not a good fit. I don't see the connection. And obviously she's beginning not to see it too. And then as for Connor, they decided to have a conversation, and Moira is not happy and feel disrespected because of the little speech he gave in regards to Cher. And it's like, okay, but you chose another dude, Moira. Why are you so upset? And he's like, okay, I want you to be happy, and I don't understand what's wrong. And Moira's like, well, it's hard to see you with someone else, and I was 50-50 on you, and I do feel respected because I was still interested in you, and I want to pursue the both of you. So she was holding on to Aaron And then at the same time, she was hoping to hold on to Calvin. And of course, she's telling the same story to Aaron. And Aaron is like, and she's crying. And, yeah, I mean, Aaron looking at her like, girl, what is wrong with you? And you mean to tell me I'm thinking you interested in me and you just want to keep me around because you feel sorry and don't want to send me home? Because that's what basically she was saying. She told both of them, I'm 50-50 on you guys, and I was hoping to keep the both of you all there so I can explore the both of you. And of course, Calvin having the same conversation with Jalen, like, this girl here sending me mixed signals, and this is a red flag, and I'm not happy about that. It's a lot to process, because he's been, into this, trying to get to know Moira, and come to find out she wants to play both of them. I wouldn't be happy about that either, so we'll see. So let's move on to Kirsten. And with Miss Kirsten, Ariel asked her as well during the recoupling ceremony if she was going to stick with Carrington, even though they had already decided to break up, or pick one of the guys that was there that came in that's new. And Kirsten says, you know what, it was a tough decision to make. I have to choose to go with my heart, and she chose to stay with Carrington, and she want to make a stand. And at first, she thought that he actually came alone. Everybody was shocked. They was like, oh my God, Carrington is coming by himself. That is so cool. And then come to find out, no, he brought somebody with him. And he chose, because remember, there's a triangle at Casa Amor with him, Mercedes, and Laurel. And he decided to choose Laurel. And honestly, I think that was a better pick for him over Mercedes. I mean, I just think she was there for the wrong reasons. And her mannerisms was definitely opposite of this so-called strength that she displayed. So I wasn't feeling her. And I was reading some of the comments, and a lot of you guys weren't feeling her either. And Kirsten, I know that felt like a gut punch. But here's my issue with Kirsten right now. You guys broke up. You knew that. And for you to make this so-called stand to prove something to him, what did you think you were going to actually prove? That, oh my God, yes, I am here for you, so you should have automatically picked me. No. And then you want to get upset about the fact that he didn't appreciate the gesture. I didn't understand that one. I really didn't. And, again, she's over there talking to the girls about how pissed she is and she feels stupid. And you chose to take that stand. It's not like he duped you or made you feel some kind of way and, or coerced you or told you to wait for me and I'll be back, and then he show up with another girl. No, you were broken up. So I don't understand that. You guys tell me what you think about that, because it just doesn't make sense. I don't like how Kirsten wants to be upset with him over something that she chose to do, especially after they had already made a decision not to be together. It doesn't make sense. But I honestly think that Carrington, on the other hand, made a good choice. And they had a sit-down conversation. And, Carrington kind of want to start sending mixed messages a little bit too, because he saw how upset Kirsten was. And, he's like, I'm shocked that you were mad, because I felt that, this is the best decision for the both of us. And Laurel is the girl for me. She's independent. She's caring, and that's what he wants. And you can't be upset that this guy chose to be with somebody else. That's the purpose of this place, is to see if you can make some connections. And if it's not with you, he has the opportunity to look for somebody else, and that was with Laurel. So, I mean, you guys tell me about this whole thing. I mean, do you think, Kirsten has some merit in what she feels in regards to this and how being upset with him? Or is she just trying to misplace her anger because she feels like she shouldn't have did this herself? So she decides to have a sit-down conversation with her, not being awkward and everything. And, I get that. But I think she was just trying to fill Laurel out because she wants to figure out what is it about her that's different from me that made Carrington choose her over me. And sweetie, it doesn't matter at this point because he already made his choice. And she's still hoping that her being in the villa single, holding out for him, is going to prove something to him. And it's just not the smart thing to do. And I saw a comment that was saying, Kirsten, please don't wait on him. And she did, and it just didn't work out for her. So, unfortunately, it's not going to work, girlfriend. You got to let, Carrington and Laurel do their thing, But he seemed to be pretty happy with her, I mean, the conversation that he had is that, they reassure each other and they're happy about, he's happy about her independence and how much she cares for him and things like that. And he wanted somebody reserved. And Laurel is definitely that person. I mean, Kirsten, you got so many valuable qualities that you could give to another guy. Do that. So it was nice of him. I guess Carrington cooks. He decided to get up the next morning and fix his new coupling or his new girl breakfast and bring it into the beauty room. So I thought that was cool. I like these two together. They're not high on the scale, but I would say I would give them probably a 6 because I need to see a little bit more, and we'll get there. As time go on. So Kirsten decides to speak to the villa counselor, which is Jalen. And Jalen was counseling Aaron. Now he's counseling Kirsten. And Kirsten is pouring out her heart to Jalen, and he's like, hey, I just want to check in with you, see how you're doing. I mean, he gave her some motivation. And he was like, I just want to remind you how beautiful you are. And you need to always hear that, And, hey, if you need me to be here, we can continue to get closer. And he actually said that Kirsten was more of his type than Mackenzie was. So, I mean, even though, and we'll talk about the conversation between Jalen and Mackenzie later because he left that part out. And of course, Mackenzie and Moira, who are just, they're perfect friends for each other. But they're over there watching the interaction between Jalen and Kirsten. And honestly, he's just, I don't know, I think he's interested in her. It's the truth. And of course, Kirsten is like, well, hey, so I'm single. I don't have anybody that, I'm coupling up or, cuddling up in bed with. So, hey, he was like, hey, I'm much love. And she is not liking that interaction between Jalen and Kirsten. And right now, he's just motivating her. He's just motivating her. And I just think that, I don't know. I like to see if something do brew through them first, but I just want Jalen to handle it the right way with Mackenzie if they're not going to make that work. So while we're talking about Mackenzie, she now was in the coupling ceremony, and Ariel asked her, who do you want to couple up with? Do you want to continue to stay with Connor, or do you want to couple up with one of the new boys that's in the villa? And of course, she chose Jalen. Now, to me, their interactions this past week or the past couple days, it seemed pretty surface level to me. I don't think that I really see any deeper connections with them, but I just think that, I don't know, Mackenzie is out of control. I mean, we'll talk about that in a minute, because toward the end of the show, it got out of hand with these two. But where we are at this point, she decided to choose him. And I'm thinking because, and here's the only motivation I think that, and this is just my opinion, I think she did this because of what happened with Lauren and Connor, and thought that he was going to go over there and do the same thing. And unfortunately, he had an awakening and he decided not to. And the guys were so disappointed. I mean, the faces of, Johnny and Caleb and Carrington and the rest of them, and then to see Mackenzie's face when she see Connor brings Gus with him, the little teddy bear. She was just so unhappy about that, because I honestly think that she thought that he was just going to go over there and do like he did with Lauren, and that it was going to be this back and forth, and there's some girl he's going to bring back because he really don't want to be with me. And unfortunately, he came alone. He decided that he wanted to make it work with her, and she realized that it didn't work the way that she thought it was going to work. And I felt bad for him, but at the same time, these two, they're toxic together. And I know you guys agree. They have been toxic from day one, and I think it's more on her end than his. He won't stand up for himself as strong as maybe some of the other guys maybe, but Mackenzie's toxic. And I mean, we'll talk about, again, we'll dive deep into that when it comes to her and Jalen later. But the guys were so disappointed. The girls was hurting for Connor. I mean, unfortunately, that's what happened in these types of situations. So, again, he had Gus in his hand. He thought he was going to come back and she's going to be available. And, the teddy bear I'm going to give back to her. Yeah, and Jalen's sitting up there like, you know what, I got you, you got me, I'm here for you. And he's just like, okay, bring the teddy bear and give it to her. When you're done, I'm moving on with her. So unfortunately, it didn't work out. And like I said before, on the toxic meter with these two, it's like 1,000. I mean, he is so passive, and she is extremely manipulative. And it's just a ticking time bomb waiting to happen. I mean, in some toxic relationships, they got this love-hate extreme, these two polar extremes where I hate you today and I love you tomorrow, and that's exactly, if they was to live as a couple outside of the villa, that's exactly what Mackenzie and Connor would be, and so, she's definitely feeling some kind of way, talking about all these highs and lows that she's having. And, she needs to be honest with herself. And, that's why she chose to recouple with Jalen. And she's now trying to deal with a breakup. But you chose to do it. That's what I don't understand between the three girls, Moira and Kirsten and Mackenzie. You guys chose this route. Cely is 110% Johnny. Justine, I mean, she has a few insecurities, but she's into Caleb, and Caleb is 110% Justine. The three of these girls, they don't know what they want. And Mackenzie is one of the most biggest characters on this show that is just all over the place. And Connor, unfortunately, I don't know what it is he has about Mackenzie, but, it is what it is. Okay. So, of course, the guys are like, you know what, dude, you don't owe her nothing. I think that was Caleb. Caleb is like, you don't owe her nothing. She got the nerve to bring in somebody, and you know, just move on. You know, pretty much just move on. And then Mackenzie had the nerve to say, I can't believe that the boys' reaction was not fair to Jalen. Okay, I don't think they're reacting to Jalen. They're reacting to you. This is all on you because you went from one thing to the other, and these emotional and enragements and all this stuff that you was going through. And this dude still come back for you. And honestly, the guys told him in Casa Amor, don't do it. Go find somebody. You need to get away from that girl. But Connor was like, nope, nah, I'm good. I'm going back. I'm gonna go get Mackenzie. This is my girl. And that's where they are, you know. So I don't know. You guys comment down below what you think about this. And even this particular interaction, you know, I mean, it's intimate, you know, and he's saying, I'm hurt, but I want you to be happy. And she's, you know, like, yeah, but you hurt me too. And I just, blah, 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 blah. You know, I don't even want to repeat all she had to say because it was nonsense. It was complete nonsense. You know, I don't know what type of game you tried to play, but the game blew up in your face. You know, because you wouldn't be this emotional if you was 100% solid on Jalen. So obviously you were playing games and it blew up in your face. You know, but you know, as he said in his confessional, you know, he's 100% hurt. He hates that it's over. And then she had the nerve to tell him, "You're a grown ass man now." Really? You need to look in the mirror and grow up yourself, girl. I mean, granted, he got some things to work on within himself. Just the fact of how he keep coming for you. But you got some stuff you definitely need to work on, Mackenzie. You're trying to say he grown up. Okay, whatever. So then, you know, she's having a sit-down conversation with Moira. That's why I said these two will make excellent friends because they're both just alike in their thinking. I don't know if Moira is as toxic as Mackenzie is, but I see her as a game player. She likes to play games. And while she's over there talking about, oh, he's not spending enough time with me. How come my man can't give me as much attention? And I'm like, really, dude? You need that? Okay, yeah, something. Are you sure you're not a narcissist? I mean, I don't know. Do you have empathy for other people? Because, granted, okay, listen. I will say Jalen is over there talking about how you need to know, telling Kirsten, oh, you need to know how beautiful you are every day. So maybe she's picking up on that energy. But at the same time, I need all the attention on me from this one dude. I get it. You know, this is somebody you met the first day. And Jalen was like, okay, but don't you think you need to focus on me? Because you're not giving me much time. You seem like you helping everybody else, and you're not giving me some time. And he like, okay. And Jalen is saying, look, you know, I'm the outcast in this villa. I'm trying to get to know everybody so it won't be so awkward. And she's like, okay, well, I can understand that, but it's about me at the end of the day. It's me, 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 me. And he's looking like, wow, this is definitely a red flag because she's giving off her energy of being possessive. He got to live with these guys. He don't want to walk in the men's locker room or whatever they call that room. And, you know, they're looking at him like, hey, what up, dude? Not, you know, it's a pretty good, a good group of guys. But, you know, I don't know. She's possessive. So then he goes and asks Moira, which is the wrong person to ask because she is team Mackenzie. And she's like, dude, you need to be doing what you're supposed to do. And I mean, if she picked you from day one, she means that she's all in. And he's looking like, and I can tell from his facial expression, like, oh yeah, see, I'm talking to the wrong one because she's on that same road. But I don't know. You guys, this is just my opinion. You let me know what you think. Was Mackenzie right in the way she was feeling about Jalen, or was she being kind of low key possessive? And I mean, this carried on into bedtime, and she's going back and forth with Jalen on this, and he's looking like, what the freak? And he was like, look, I don't understand, why are you acting like this? I mean, I am here from you. I like where we are at this point. I don't want to, I told you, and he did. He said that a couple days ago. I don't want to move too fast. Let's take our time and get to know each other. And Mackenzie wants to control the relationship. That's what manipulative people do, because they want to control. And so Jalen is like, nah, you ain't about to control me. I'm telling you, this is where it is. This is how it should go. Either you like me or you don't. So he's definitely seeing Mackenzie as a red flag. I'm glad he's catching on early instead of going through what Connor has got to go through. And I'm hoping he move out of her orbit and move over to Kirsten possibly. So let's go back again. We're going to talk about our last couple and the most dramatic couple of the show, Cely and Johnny. So, of course, Ariel asked Cely, who's the boy you want to couple up with? You're currently with Johnny. Do you want to stay with Johnny, or do you want to pick one of the new guys? And I thought, she is so diplomatic. I love her personality. And she told the guys, look, I love you guys. I think you're awesome, but I'm going to stay with Johnny. I mean, one thing I will say about Cely is that she's a people person, and she's extremely smart. Her and Caleb, not as a couple, but they are the two people that have a well-rounded personality in the villa. Let me know what you guys think. So, of course, she's nervous because she's wondering if Johnny has decided to choose somebody else and that he's coming down the stairs with someone else. And, of course, he's coming down the stairs alone. And he's smiling, and while I was watching the show, I was like, oh my God, he got something to tell her. Ooh, how's Cely gonna take this? And of course, I saw some of the previews, and then the first look that I got, the notification on my phone from the app. So I kind of knew what her response is, but I wanted to see the full magnitude of it, which we definitely got a whole lot of that. But, of course, her guy was Cely. And just the look in her eyes, she really has some deep feelings for Johnny. And the same thing for him. Did he screw up? Absolutely. Absolutely. I'll just say it like that. But still, at the end of the day, at the recoupling or coupling ceremony, both he and Cely decided to stay together. And I was happy about that, but I was hesitant about it because I didn't know what her complete response is going to be. They have physical chemistry, mental chemistry, emotional chemistry, sexual chemistry. It's just, they look good together. Could you imagine what their babies will look like if they decide to stay together outside of the villa? They're going to have some cute kids. They're cute people. They're gorgeous, both of them. And even Justine and Caleb, I mean, oh my God, that melon of hers and, what he got going on, mixed them, oh yeah. These two couples will definitely have some cute babies. All right, so she's excited. She's looking forward to like, hey, tell me what happened. And he's like, yeah, we got to talk. And anytime a girl or a guy tell a significant other, we need to talk, the pit of your stomach just drop because something is about to go down. Okay. So they have a sit-down conversation, and Johnny is like, hey, I just want to tell you there was this girl, she kissed me, and I mean, after kissing me, we decided to also cuddle in my bed, and we kissed some more. And I knew after that I was done because the foundation that I have with you kept me grounded. And even though I was further away from you, I felt closer to you. And she was like, her, pop the brakes. Don't put all this on her. Because a little bit he was trying to make it like it was her. Yeah, I agree with Cely. Johnny, you definitely did have a part in that, because if you really didn't want to kiss her because you were sexually attracted to Mercedes, you wouldn't have kissed her. But you did. And then you also cuddled with her. Because, hey, everybody, including Caleb, had to sleep in the bed with somebody, but he did nothing with Cher. So you had that same opportunity. So I totally agree with what Cely was saying. But it was interesting how Johnny was saying that he didn't expect this kind of reaction out of her. Now, granted, do I think Cely is very, very confident? Yeah. But you did tell her, Johnny, that I'm all in. So when she heard you say, I'm all in, there's nothing that's going to break us apart. And then you coming in there talking about you was smooching with somebody and y'all was in the bed smooching too. What do you expect her to say? I mean, you guys let me know what you think, because, I mean, I think it was extremely, naive for him to think that Cely wasn't going to have a reaction to that. Now, let me ask you guys, do you think that she's overreacting, or do you think that her reaction is valid? So I want to know what you think in the comments. So she had a conversation with Justine to kind of bring her up to speed with everything. And, she got some clarity, and she want to know whether she should believe him, because, what made him decide to do that if y'all supposed to be that solid? And that's what Justine was saying. What made him make that decision to do that if you guys are so solid? And honestly, that is a good question. But, in Johnny's, I guess, being devil's advocate, he needed to go through that in order to make a decision and gain some clarity. But you had to hurt her in the process. So I see her side, definitely. And I mean, she spent a lot of time. I ain't seen Cely cry this much in the entire, 2.5, 3 weeks that we've been watching the show. So she's hurting. And honestly, I don't blame her. But they hugged it out. And of course, Johnny had a conversation with good old Caleb. Caleb is one of the other level-headed guys, and I like the fact that he gives very, very impartial counsel. He's not biased unless it comes to Mackenzie. He does not like Mackenzie. But I mean, he probably, he don't hate her, but he don't like how Mackenzie moves. But she's in there like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I gotta figure this out. I don't know how to process this. And this actually boils over into bedtime, and he's like, let me know. I didn't expect you to react this way. And she's like, hey, that kiss, he was trying to tell her it didn't matter, but to her it does. It might not matter to you, but it matters to her. And you got to consider that as if you're going to build a relationship with her. That's important to also consider what your partner is going through. So, again, Johnny is reaching out to her, and right now, Cely is like, look, I need some time to think, and I asked you for space, and I'm gonna need you to give me that space because I gotta gain some clarity. And honestly, Johnny, you dropped a bombshell in her lap, so she's gonna need time to figure out. Now, she did mention something interesting to Justine a little while ago. Am I going to look stupid? I don't want to be one of them dumb girls who, decide to get back with somebody who did something like this. And what do you guys think? I mean, should she be worried about what someone else think? Or should she make the choices that's best for her? I picked the latter. So obviously we're into another day or another part of or later of that particular original day, and it seemed like she got some clarity because, and I absolutely love that top. I love tops like that. I want to find it. Cely, if you ever listen to this video, let me know where you get that top. So, back to what we were talking about with these two. Look like she has had some processing of her thoughts, and she came back to say, I miss being with you. I needed some time to think to see if I want to make a decision. And it didn't go that far. I mean, yes, you shared some kisses, and it hurted me to see you in pain, which told me a lot about how you feel about me. And he said that. He was like, I was hurting. I mean, just to see you in the pain that you were in, it hurt me. And I hope this is a learning experience for both of them. I mean, I love these two together. If they're going to stay together, they gotta make it work. Johnny, you know what you got now. You got a good one there. Don't mess that up. I mean, her personality with everybody in there, she's not like the Mackenzie and the Moiras of the world. Cely's a good girl. I like her. So don't screw it up. And I like the scene in the beauty room where he decided to pick her up, have her against the mirror and then put her down on the floor. I'm wondering what happened after that. But of course, the cameras wasn't going to give us all that. But I am so happy about these two working it out. So we'll see what's going to happen next episode. So I do have my winner for the challenge, who got all of them right, and that was Tracy Ann Yisrael. She had every prediction correct with the coupling ceremony. So like, comment, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.